we had information about one of the top leaders of this group who resided in Westchester County, including his profession, which was real estate.
Yeah.
And generally where he lived and so on and so on. Well, by 1995, I had the name of who he was. And then I just happened to catch a death notice in the paper in 1996 that this person had died. The police were alerted immediately, and they had a sketch that had been provided to them by this young guy who was a budding artist back in 1976, 20 years before.
Right.
And he hung out for several weeks that summer, just before the Son of Sam murders began, in a wooded park, big wooded park, former estate in Yonkers, just near Berkowitz, where Berkowitz was living, with some of this cult group. He didn't know who they were, what they were up to, or that they were about to start on a murder campaign, and they tried to recruit him.
Is this that Untermeyer Park?
That's right. And this young budding artist would hang out with them for a while, and then he'd go home and sketch. And he sketched 4 or 5 of the people up there. And he sketched somebody. One of them happened, as it turned out, happened to be the leader of this group. And this kid didn't know that then, but the sketches were, in the 90s, turned over to the cops. And so when I noticed the obit, this guy had died, the cops went up and went in to the wake, and off the sketch, ID'd the guy. And they called me and told me, it's him. And I said, well, you guys weren't the ones who saw him in Untermeyer Park. Let me find the artist. So I found the artist, and they went and picked him up and took him up to the wake and walked him in. And he said, what am I supposed to do? They just said, just go in and see if you recognize the guy lying in the box. And he comes back out of the funeral home and said, it's him. How the hell did you know it was him? How'd you know? And, of course, they wouldn't tell him. But a remarkable story.
But he went by the name of Moloch?
That was his so-called occult name, yeah.
And
in real life, he was in his 70s at the time of his death.
Yeah.
And he was a wealthy real estate guy who had done consulting work for the state of New York, and et cetera, et cetera.
Wow. God. What is
the reason I can't name him is because he has a couple of relatives who are also strong suspects. Otherwise, I would tell you his name right now.
Yeah.